Hi everybody, I'm Phil Fatika and welcome back to this great Channel 9. It is the Millcreek Government Channel, always with spectacular guests for you and spectacular discussions. And check this out today. Let me introduce you to John Oliver. John Oliver is the Chief Cook and Bottle Washer of Visit Erie, and you may notice behind him that Visit Erie logo with the tower and everything going on there. John, you got an hour and a half. What's going on with Visit Erie as we speak? I mean, I've got notes and pamphlets to show, and you've got things to talk about. So it says, "Hello, Erie." What does that mean?
Well, Phil, thank you for having me and giving me the opportunity to come here and kind of talk about what our organization's doing and how we're promoting Erie as a fabulous visitor destination. And that's what it's all about. Hello, Erie is our campaign. Because we're talking to people saying, hey, hello Erie, it's hello summer, hello Erie, hello fall, spring, winter. We're really now starting to promote this great community we live in as a four-season destination.
Multi-season campaign.
Yes.
Ongoing constantly. How far are you spreading it out, John? It's
well,
going to where?
Right now, we're probably 250 mile radius. Mainly we're looking at Pittsburgh, Cleveland, Buffalo, Southern Ontario, up to Toronto. That really is a focus. And when you look at it, we're looking at nearly 12 million people that live within that radius.
And 250 miles would be 5 hours?
Yeah, not even. Probably four if
hours
that.
Drive?
Right. But from Pittsburgh, Cleveland, Buffalo, you're looking at about a 2 hour, no more than a 2 hour drive to draw people here. And so, initially as we've really started to ramp up our promotional efforts, we felt that these markets offer us a tremendous opportunity to grow an industry that's been growing.
Part of what we were discussing about before you joined us, we were discussing off the air, and John was saying that most people, including myself, I really don't know a whole lot about what the tourism or the Visit Erie Bureau does. But he mentioned a number that grabbed my attention very quickly when you told me that how much is spent here? How many dollars?
The latest numbers we have, and these numbers are not coming from Visit Erie, they're coming from, internationally known research company that the state of Pennsylvania employs. Visitors in 2012 spent a little more than $1 billion.
Say that again.
And that's a billion with a B.
That's a billion with a B.
A tremendous amount of money. To give you an idea, if you go back maybe 10 years ago, visitors were spending under $500 million a year here in Erie. So in the last 10 years, we've doubled the amount of money that visitors are coming into this community and spending. And that consequently, when you have visitors spending that kind of money, we're looking at 16,000 people in the summer that are employed in the hospitality and leisure industry. But even when you get into the dead of winter, you're looking at between 12 and 13,000 people that are employed in this.
I'm glad to hear you say that, because some people tend to think the shoulder seasons, I think, is that the term you use? The
shoulder and off season, yes.
That just kind of goes to sleep. And what I'm hearing you saying is not necessarily.
Right. I mean, a lot of people remember, and tourism, going back a number of years in Erie, probably was around what would be called the golden 90 days or golden 100 days from Memorial Day to Labor Day, and because it was beach, and that really is what our industry totally revolved around, and that's changed dramatically. When you see new attractions like Splash Lagoon, that's drawing people now in the winter. Oh, people are coming here that never would have considered coming to Erie.
6 below zero outside,
and it's 84 degrees, year round. So but not only are people coming to do that, but they're not doing that the entire stay. They're coming out of Splash Lagoon after spending 8 hours or more in there and saying, now what do we do? What can we do in the evening? What else is there to do? So even in the winter, we're seeing people moving through this community and doing things, and in the end, spending money.
Yeah, nice to hear that. You notice behind John is I don't want to call it a poster,
it's kind of a backdrop that we use. Yes.
And it has all of the Hello Erie things going on there. But beside that, the Visit Erie site has all kinds of brochures for you that you can pick up almost anywhere. This one says Stay and Play. This one is an events calendar. And this one here is a booklet that has everything happening, and the design is very similar here as you see behind John. And if that's not big enough, then we have something like this, which is going to be around. So there's an all-out media blitz to attract people to Erie. But on top of that, on top of the standard print material that you have, I notice in my notes that you're also going social media, because you have not left that unchecked. So tell me about Facebook and Twitter and YouTube and Pinterest and Instagram and LinkedIn and everything.
Right, and as you mentioned, in order to be successful in marketing us to a destination, and we're marketing it to a wide audience, age-wise, we have to look at all avenues out there. Social media is quickly becoming and is the fastest growing way that people are communicating and also securing information. So, we maintain all of the different social media sites, Facebook, Twitter, Pinterest, Instagram, LinkedIn. It goes on what we're promoting. And we're now looking to try to drive with advertising and campaigns, how can we get people become our Facebook friends? Yeah. And just recently we started a campaign, and we saw within 3 weeks 3,000 more people now following Erie on Facebook. And we're able to post every day. We're posting on Facebook a couple of different posts about new events, new things.
Yeah. VisitErie.com, so that would be the website?
Yes.
VisitErie.com, real simple.
Very simple. You'll find anybody there can find all kinds of information, and even local residents. We encourage them to go on to that. We'll be rolling out a mobile app and can talk in more detail about that. It will be coming out probably within the next month.
Yeah, I know you had a video about that mobile app.
Right. We'll be doing advertising to promote it, and we want local residents to go out and to get the app. There's no charge for that, but you'll find there's all kinds of discounted offers, information on things to see and do. It will map where you're at to whatever attraction you want to go to, and you can put them in whatever order. It'll put them in an order and then route you around. So.
I know that the Perry 200 this past year, and most notably perhaps the ships coming to Erie, wow, downtown was just a buzzing and vibrant and alive, and people came and discovered that this incredible bayfront area that we have there. They go, oh my gosh, this is wonderful. Do you know what you have here? I mean, other communities, well, we're the only community in Pennsylvania that has it. Would just almost, quote, kill to have something like this. And so Visit Erie's promoting that, I assume, and promoting other things. I have some more questions for you there.
No, absolutely. We, in particular for the tall ships, we went out and promoted that in Buffalo and in Pittsburgh. Because Pittsburgh will never have a tall ships festival in Pittsburgh. They don't have the port. Right. Buffalo didn't have any a tall ships festival this year, so we were able to get the word out and bring in a number of people that came in for that.
Right. Now, a lot of people are extremely familiar with what I'm going to mention, and perhaps they're not aware that, in a sense, Visit Erie has a connection to these places, such as the Erie Insurance Arena. What is the connection that Visit Erie would have with that, and what's going on in 2014?
Well, I mean, that's, again, the connection is we're looking and trying to assist and make visitors, whether they're in town or they're planning to come into town, what's taking place. Having that arena now with the expansion that they've undergone, now the ability to attract the concerts that we're starting to see to come in here.
Well, Zach Brown, not too long ago,
right.
8,000.
Elton John was in, they
sell out in minutes.
Right, so I mean, that really works for us to be able to tell visitors, and it's what keeps them here longer.
Moving on to some of the businesses that have spread their wings, we just recently finished up a travel, leisure, and wine auction, and we're taping this at WQLM, and that was featuring Mazza Chautauqua 5 and 20, and he's moving into something new there, Bobby Mazza. Yeah. What about that? Unique for sure.
It's very unique, and when they're done, there'll be one of only a handful in the country that are actually going to be doing wine, spirits, and the beer with the microbrewery that they're planning to expand to. But they're part of a bigger thing with the Lake Erie Wine Trail. And that's composed of about 24 wineries, of which I think 9 or 10 are here in Erie, and the balance are in Chautauqua. And it's a great example.
Or even Ohio.
Yeah, down into Ohio. But this current trail, it's a great example of working regionally to promote something where you need that critical mass, the number of wineries, to draw people to come down.
I want to come back to some of the what's new in Erie in 2014, but I want to just backstep a moment. Yet I'm not too sure if viewers are aware that embedded within Visit Erie's organization is what is called the Erie Sports Commission, and that's going to start paying results here shortly, or there's paying results already. By what? Well, first of all, what is it?
Well, the Erie Sports Commission is really become a very strong division of Visit Erie. And what we saw several years ago and did some extensive studying was the opportunity to take advantage of the facilities that we have here in Erie to entice and invite and bring sporting events to come into the community. And we found that to be very successful. I mean, events from running events to basketball tournaments to baseball tournaments to fishing tournaments. My gosh, this past winter we had a Pennsylvania yo-yo tournament that came in. So very unique. Actually, we had hoped this year, it's kind of the third year we've had this going. Our goal was somewhere around maybe 13 events that the Sports Commission would be involved in bringing in. It looks like for this year, 2014, we're going to have 30 events coming in. They've just announced we're doing what is called a color run, a unique kind of 5K race where people, as they run through the race and reach certain points, they have colors, various colors thrown on them, chalk, dust, or whatever. And at the end of the race, they're totally covered in multiple colors as they go through this. They just opened that up. We've already had, I think we're approaching 6,000 people have registered for this.
Whoa.
Yeah,
really?
I mean, it's a phenomenal thing. Last year we hosted, we're going to have them back again now for 3 more years, the Biggest Loser race walk that they put on. Last year we had 2,200 participants coming from 47 states that came into Erie to participate in this event.
20? Say that again.
2,200 from 47 different states.
Oh my God.
Made the trip to Erie to participate in this event. This year, we're hoping that we'll see 4,000 people participate. So these are the kind of events, and a sports commission is really integral to not only finding the events, but then working with that event when they arrive for securing facilities, securing security, doing a lot of the logistical help. Because these events just don't say, hey, we're coming to Erie, and then we walk away from them.
Yeah, right. That's good to hear. Let's go back to then some of the events that are occurring right now in the year 2014. You mentioned Splash Lagoon. They have the Aqua Tumbler up there. That has attracted people for sure. But also, a lot of people interested, I don't want to characterize this as being a little younger age, but it is. It's the microbreweries are just exploding everywhere. People are just ignited by what that brings into the downtown area, and Lavery Brewing just comes to mind. Not to mention anybody. I'm sorry, I can't mention everybody's, but Lavery's in my notes.
Again, we're finding, you're right, that is an interest, and as we're now finding that we've got several in our region, so even outside of the county, if you go down to Crawford and that, and it gives us that opportunity, because when people come in, visitors want to experience not just one brewery or not just one winery. They like to visit several. And so when we have more than that, we can put together that package. So hopefully they're going to stay overnight and take the time then to see more than just one thing.
And again, you can find all of this at VisitErie.com.
Yes.
VisitErie.com. Goes without saying, have to mention my good friend at Waldameer. Is making a very large infrastructure improvement, I believe, is going to be starting this year. You want to tell us about that, what they're doing out there?
Yeah, they've announced a huge, over the next few years, I think it's $30 million in an expansion there. But it should be noted that they have virtually they've upgraded that park every year.
To me, just to stop you for one moment, to me it's amazing how you can go there and not pay to park and not pay to go in. You don't get that at Cedar Point or Kennywood.
No, it certainly is a major thing that we hear again. It's what makes Erie so affordable. But they are continually investing into that park all the time. You know, and it may be small things, but it's things that cast an image of it being a very first-class run operation, and it's a family operation. And you know, when you look at the roller coaster that's drawing, you know, they've had groups as far away as United Kingdom come over here just to ride that roller coaster. You know, Paul and the entire family have really invested a lot of time and effort, and are a major part of why Erie has become so successful and why visitors are spending $1 billion here.
Yeah, Paul Nelson's done a wonderful job there. Just can't thank him enough for all the good things that he's done. Like I said, they're going to be that wave pool coming up, I think starting now, and anticipated finishing maybe late fall or early next spring. I know it's a huge undertaking, but these are the kinds of things that bring visitors to Erie. So one of the things perhaps that people are not aware of, that there's a Segway tour which is going to start back up again at Presque Isle?
Yeah, Presque Isle, there's a person out there that will rent Segways that you can do.
You know what those are? Those are those two-wheel things
that you stand up and you lean forward and it goes. And you know, they have a number of bicycle rentals out there. You know, the covered jitneys for four that people can rent. You know, all of those kind of things, along with kayak rentals. You know, there's all kinds of activities other than just the beach that take place. The Tom Ridge Environmental Center, what a great place to start out your tour of Presque Isle, to learn what's going on and what's taking place there.
And again, it's a state park and it's free, and people come here and there's guarded beaches and there's a walking path, and you just go, oh my goodness, you know, this is incredible. You know, I mean, you know, people come and stay down next to Sarah's in the trailer park there, and they stay for weeks on end. And here we have it at our doorstep, and
well, it's
amazing.
Tourism in so many ways impacts our quality of life that we as local residents have. Shopping, for example. If it wasn't for all of the out-of-towners that come in here and shop, Erie doesn't have enough population to support the number and the size of the stores that we have if it wasn't for that outside base coming in here. So, you know, it's, again, that's part of the quality of life that we're able to have. You know, when you look at Splash Lagoon and you look at the casino, you know, all of those kind of entertainment options would not necessarily be here if we didn't have tourists that were the primary draw for those.
One more thing here, we have the Grape Discovery Center. Tell us about that. I'm not familiar with that.
Yeah, that's up in Westfield.
Okay.
And you know, since it kind of covers between Chautauqua and Erie with the number of vineyards
Stone's
that
throw
we have.
from here.
Yeah, absolutely. It's really on the wine trail. But this new center has been designed to tell the story of the grape and its impact on both Chautauqua and Erie. And so it's not just wine, but it talks about the use of and the growing of grapes for Welch's, for juice, and how this has played a role in developing you know, the industry and the economy of both of our counties. So a very interesting opportunity to tell that story, and then people can go out and start to tour and actually understand a little bit more of, rather than just driving by and seeing vineyards and seeing the grapes, they have a better understanding of how they're harvested and how they're grown and why they pick the types of grapes to grow where they grow. All of that story can be told at the Discovery Center.
You were telling us earlier about how maybe just a scant 10 years ago or so, it was the revenue from tourism was probably where it should be, but all of a sudden now it's just ratcheted up to $1 billion. Any thoughts on what drove that? What was it? Just simply people were not aware of us, and it was people like you and Visit Erie that said, "Look, we got a good product here. You got to come, and sample it."
It's a combination of that. It's also, I think, the vision of those that had tourism businesses here, that saw the opportunity, and that what we had. That while we have, you know, the beaches we have is certainly our jewel, our biggest hook. But they saw that opportunity to say, let's locate a business here. Geographically, we're in an incredible location with, equidistant between 3 major metropolitan areas, an interstate system that comes through.
Well, we're in the winter of our despair here, it seems. One cold day is colder than the next cold day, and et cetera. But it all depends how you look at that. If you're in the skiing business, if you like going out on the bay and ice fishing, this is heaven. This is terrific. You dress warm, you go out there.
We have this weather.
That's it.
We need to embrace it.
Chicago has this weather.
Right. We need to embrace it.
Pittsburgh has this weather.
I just heard that not only is Peak and Peak having a banner season,
as well they should.
Splash Lagoon is having a banner year.
Yeah.
You're right. Ice fishing that we haven't really seen the last couple of years because of the mild
Saw some
winters.
ice boaters out there too.
Right. And these are bringing people from, people are coming up from Pittsburgh to go out on that ice and ice fish. So, we need to take a look at what we have and take advantage of it and find ways to, it's making lemonade out of lemons. And so, that's, we've used in the past Erie Feel the Lake effect. It's not just the winter. The lake effect gives us the grapes. It gives us the summer, the great summer weather we have, the fall colors.
Great sunsets too. One of the things I mentioned earlier was there was a series of small brochures that, this one's called the Events Calendar. It looks very similar to Stay and Play. But the events calendar, where can the people pick these up? Are these scattered at the usual suspect places?
Yes, we're beginning that. Yes.
And by the way, where are you? Where are you located?
Our offices are located down at the Intermodal Transportation Center at the foot of Holland, right across the street from the library. However, we tell everybody, you can go to VisitEriecom and all the events that are listed there, all of the packages, the golf, everything we have is online. All of our TV commercials that we're running out of town. I'll give you an example. Before this summer, we had never run a TV commercial on Erie. It wasn't something.
Say that again.
Before July of this year, we as Visit Erie had never run a TV commercial. As we've now, because of the cost involved in being able to produce and do that, but since we've now moved forward and have amped up our whole marketing effort and marketing campaign, since July, we've run probably a little over 12,000 commercials have run in Pittsburgh, Cleveland, Buffalo, Southern Ontario. So we're really starting to get that word out. But the commercials, the videos that we have, all of our literature is all found on VisitErie.com.
Okay, so that's the key focal point.
That's the key focal point.
People watching want to know, I'd like to do what you do. I love what you do. How do I get a job doing this? I mean, do I go to school and major in some sort of like hospitality or business and economics? I mean, because you roll it all into one. You've got to be able to speak well, know your dollars and cents, understand how all the many parts come together to bring somebody here to have a beer and a perch sandwich and spend money.
There's a wide range of people that are doing what I do, and some of them have communication degrees. Myself, I have a degree in travel and tourism.
Okay.
And so, my entire working career has been in the tourism industry. So, I mean, I've done that, but there are people that have business degrees that come into this. But you're right. You need to. It's no day is the same.
I can imagine. Yeah, I can imagine. I would imagine there's not a day that really you go to work at 8 and go home at 4:30 either. I mean,
Well, that's
sometimes, but mostly not.
It's funny. I talk to a lot of students at university programs, particularly in tourism, and tell them that, this is a great industry. It's it's enjoyable and that, but it's 7 days a week, and your hours are never necessarily the same. But again, I tell people, you get into this industry, you'll get up every morning looking forward to go to work.
Nice. Again, we're talking with John Oliver. John is the head of the Visit Erie, and that is located at the foot of Holland. You can walk in and say hi. There's a rack, I believe, where you can get all of these brochures, which I've been holding up here throughout the program. I particularly like this one. This is the Visitor's Guide. You can go down, pick this up, send it to your good people, your relatives out of town, and say, here's what's going on. Mark them off. come and see us. And this is even more specific as to what's going on. This is the events calendar, and this has, I think, all kinds of coupons in it and deals and steals.
We're constantly encouraging our local residents to be a tourist in their own backyard, to get out and actually experience all that there is to see and do in the area. And I think that, we hear this from visitors all the time when they arrive, though, which I think it says a lot for our residents when I hear visitors say how friendly this area is, how people go out of their way to help them, not only point things out, but I've heard stories where people have said, follow me, and they drive them to their destination. Now, they're not going there, but they're willing to say, just follow me. It's easier if I take you right to where you're going. And we hear that all the time.
That's nice to hear.
It's, again, it's perception. In my 12 years now that I've been here in Erie, I've not had one friend, relative, or business person that hasn't come into Erie and left with an incredibly different perception than they might have had.
I don't hear anymore mistake on the lake or dreary Erie. That's gone out of our lingo.
Right. We don't, and now we have, we're in the lead for the snowiest city this year. We're in the top 20 for the most romantic city. I don't know whether the snow and the romance happen to go together.
Well, no, in a little bit maybe.
But we're starting to get recognized, I believe, for attributes that we've all known, but we're now just starting to be able to get out and share that with others.
Just a few moments left. We've covered a lot of ground here today. What it is you do, what's new in Erie, the Sports Commission, beyond what you're doing in the stables, what you're doing now. What's beyond that for you? Are you going to do what?
Well,
build on successes for sure.
Absolutely. We're beginning to look at, obviously our goal is to bring more people into this community to visit, and in particular when they come, make sure that they're provided every opportunity to spend every dollar that they have in their pocket. I don't want them to go home with extra money in their pocket. We've not done our job, and they're not going to be really happy. We're really looking at that as an organization and as an industry. We've begun the process now to look at another 5-year strategic plan. Where do we want to be as an organization, and where do we want this community to be in terms of tourism in 5 years from now? And I think it's, we have great opportunity with the Bayfront, to really provide something that not only benefits our local residents and draws them down to the Bayfront, but in turn brings visitors and gives them, more reasons on why they should come and why they should stay longer. It's all about taking that little over $1 billion and making it $1.5 billion, because that benefits all of us.
Good. John, thanks.
Phil, thank you. Always a pleasure.
We've been talking with John Oliver today, and John is, of course, the head of the Visit Erie, and they are located, if you'd like to go down and pick up any of these brochures, right there at the foot of Holland Street, right across from the library. I'm Phil Fatica. Thanks for being with us, and don't forget, Visit Erie. See you next time.
You're watching the Millcreek Government Channel, powered by WQLN Public Media.